Okay, I'm going to be giving you 20 proven tips to lose belly fat without counting calories. And that first tip is to make sure you're having protein at every one of your meals, specifically complete proteins. Now, protein is needed to achieve a body recomposition goal, which is where you're losing fat, but you're not losing muscle. Protein is also crucial for decreasing sugar cravings, because the more sugar that we crave and that we eat, the more it spikes our storing hormone insulin. And high levels of the storing hormone insulin directly lead to weight gain around the belly. So to help ensure that you can decrease sugar cravings and achieve the body recomposition goal you're looking for, make sure to have protein at each of your meals. Now, if you're new here, my name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. On my channel, I talk a lot about how you can achieve your weight loss and wellness goals with intermittent fasting and eating meals that you love. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Today's video is also sponsored by The Reserve. More on them in a bit. Okay, the second tip is to use almond flour instead of wheat flour. This helps to bring the overall insulin spike even lower from your meal, because wheat flour is really high in starches that really spike the storing hormone insulin. Just a quarter cup of wheat flour has about 17 grams of starch versus almond flour, which has nearly 0. So if you need wheat flour to make something like homemade chicken tenders, you can easily reduce that insulin spike by swapping in almond flour instead. Okay, the third tip is to remove all sugar from your coffee or tea. This has the most insulin spiking potential when you have sugar in a liquid, because there's nothing really to slow it down, so it just gets directly absorbed, has a huge spike in your blood glucose and a really big spike in that storing hormone insulin. And if you're going to coffee shops, sugary drinks like vanilla lattes can range anywhere from like 20 grams to 50 grams of sugar per serving. Now, instead, you can just ask for it without sugar if you're ordering your own coffee or tea, although that can get a little sneaky even with some other added sugars. Or you can just make sure there's 0 sugar by making your own coffee or tea at home. And if you love specifically matcha tea, you should definitely check out today's sponsor, The Reserve. The Reserve makes organic ceremonial grade matcha that has 0 sugar. They have original matcha, but they also have other different flavored options as well that still don't contain sugar. In fact, I've even made a video in the past making my own 0 sugar matcha latte using The Reserve. I'll have that video linked down below so you guys can check out that recipe. But it's crazy how easy it is to make your own matcha latte at home that doesn't have any sugar and still have it taste great. And The Reserve is offering you guys, my viewers, 50% off all of their matcha, including their different flavored options, as well as their various superfood products. So they also have things like maca or spirulina, which are great to add into your smoothies as extra smoothie boosters. So you can get 50% off all of their products for the next month by using the link down description below. Make sure you check them out and stock up, because 50% off, that's like insane. Okay, the fourth tip is to stop drinking fruit juice. Fruit juice is incredibly high in sugar, and that's even if it's unsweetened. It's specifically also high in a sugar called fructose, and high levels of fructose have been found to increase insulin resistance. And the more insulin resistant you are, the harder it is to burn fat as fuel. The fifth tip is to stand up every hour. This is where having something like a Fitbit can be quite useful, because it reminds you to get up every hour. But the more often that you can stand up and even just get your muscles moving a bit, the more insulin sensitive and the better at burning fat your body becomes. You'd be surprised how even those 250 steps every hour just doing laps around your office or your house can really add up. Okay, the sixth tip is to use intermittent fasting. One of the main perks of intermittent fasting is that you get lower levels of insulin during your fasting period. And when insulin is low, the fat burning process is specifically turned on. This is where people like Macy or Corolla or Ron have really seen a lot of success achieving their weight loss goals by using intermittent fasting. And if you're using intermittent fasting and you're wondering how long it takes to work, I have a video that you can check out down description below as well. Okay, the seventh tip is to know your proteins, because you already know how important eating protein is to achieve a weight loss and specifically a belly fat loss goal, but the type of protein also matters. Complete proteins are going to be the best at achieving the body recomposition and helping you to feel satisfied. Complete proteins include things like Greek yogurt or beef, salmon, eggs, tempeh. So you want to make sure you know which proteins are complete versus those that are incomplete. Okay, the eighth tip is to go for a daily fasted walk, preferably first thing in the morning, which will be really easy to do if you're also using intermittent fasting. Going for like a 20 to 30 minute walk each morning helps to capitalize on a fat burning state that you're naturally in because insulin is low. Okay, the ninth tip is to check your nut butters. These can sneakily add up in sugar. Now, one pro tip, if your almond butter or peanut butter say like peanut butter spread, this likely has added sugar. You never want to buy something that says spread. Okay, the 10th tip is to stop using oat milk. Depending on the brand, 1 cup of oat milk can come in at about 20 grams of starches. And remember, those starches really spike the storing hormone insulin. So if you're using using a nut or a seed milk for your smoothie or your coffees, you're best off to opt for an unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened coconut milk, or an unsweetened hemp milk. Okay, the 11th tip is to go for a short evening walk, even if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes. Now, when you go outside for a walk, especially when it's dark out, it helps to expose your eyes to darkness, which then tells your body to start producing the sleep hormone melatonin. And poor quality sleep is directly linked to weight gain around the belly. So by going for a short walk, you can help to improve your sleep quality. Okay, the 12th tip is to add resistance training in 3 times per week. Resistance training helps to improve insulin sensitivity, which can then make you better at burning fat as fuel. And this can be any type of resistance training. You could use bands, you could do Pilates or heavier weight training. Really whatever you prefer as long as you like it. Now the 13th tip is to stop drinking fruit smoothies. Fruit smoothies are those that are going to be made with fruit juice and then a ton of added fruit as just the main component of the smoothie. This is pretty much just a pure sugar bomb. You're getting a lot more fruit than you'd ever be able to eat at one sitting if you're just eating them whole. And this can amount to 100 or 200 grams of sugar with one smoothie. Instead, you can make a low sugar smoothie option that's rich in the protein, fat, and fibers that will help you with your goals. I have a ton of smoothie recipes on my YouTube channel and on my blog. I'll have one of my favorite smoothie recipes linked down description below as well. Okay, the 14th tip is to not add honey into your tea. Honey gets a little bit of this like health halo, but it's still going to be an added sugar. 1 tablespoon has about 17 grams of sugar. Okay, the 15th tip is to stop drinking soda. And soda is a sugar sweetened drink that really spikes our storing hormone insulin. In fact, just 1 can of soda has about 33 grams of sugar. So if you're a daily soda drinker, you can make actually a lot of progress simply by just swapping out your soda for a 0 sugar alternative like sparkling water. Okay, the 16th tip is to stop eating after dinner, which you're automatically going to do if you're using intermittent fasting. But if you aren't using intermittent fasting, you can simply stop snacking after dinner in order to make a lot of progress. Because the later in the night or the evening that we eat, the more insulin resistant we are, which means that it gets easier and easier to store that food that we're eating the later that we are eating. So just eat your dinner and then just don't snack afterward. Okay, the 17th tip is to drink mint tea after dinner. This is really helpful for preventing those cravings that you might have if you're used to snacking after dinner. Mint tea can act as a natural appetite suppressant. So if you're breaking that habit of snacking after dinner, this would be a good replacement. Okay, the 18th tip is to read a book before bed. This is instead of watching TV or looking at your phone. Because if you're watching TV or looking at your phone, you're exposing your eyes to light, and that can tell your brain that you don't need to be going to sleep and prevent melatonin from being produced, ultimately resulting in that poor quality sleep. Instead, you can help to get higher quality sleep by swapping your TV or phone for reading a book. Okay, the 19th tip is to use zucchini or hearts of palm pasta. And this is instead of regular pasta. Regular pasta is really rich in those starches that will really work against your weight loss goals. So by making the swap of using zucchini noodles or hearts of palm pasta, you can significantly bring down that insulin spike. Okay, the 20th tip is to watch out for cauliflower and almond flour products. Typically, these are still going to have a lot of starch in the form of cassava flour or tapioca starch. So it's pretty much almost the same impact on your insulin levels as if you were to have a regular wheat tortilla. So make sure when you're looking at these cauliflower or almond flour products that you don't see a significant source of starch in the ingredients. Those can get really sneaky. And you can check out the 10 foods to help you lose belly fat with this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.